I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land.
Welcome to another edition of the Volpe Report. I'm your host, Domenic Volpe. Tonight we have a special guest with us. We have the president of the United Taxpayers of Yorktown. His name is Ed Ciffone. Ed, welcome.
Thanks, Dominic. Nice
All right.
to see you.
So before let's get started right into the thing. It seems like in all the newspapers, school taxes, school districts, what's going on? We have layoffs out there. We have school budgets jumping. We've got an economy that's tanking. What's going on? So let's start out with this.
Okay.
Well, give us a bio first of Ed Ciffone.
Okay. Originally, I was born in the Bronx. Went to Evander Childs High School. Okay. In 1965 to 67, during Vietnam, I was in the service as an Army medic. When I come out, I joined the police department, North Tarrytown. North Tarrytown Police. I was a youth officer, so I had two hats: police officer and youth officer. Then when I retired, I went to Scarsdale as safety and security officer, because I've always been involved with kids. And then after that, I became court attendant in Yorktown from 1991 to the present time. So I wear uniform in the town of Yorktown. But where I got involved was in 1990, my last son, got out of high school, and I wanted to run for the school board. So I ran, and I ran a couple of times. Actually, I ran about 8 times.
8 times?
Yeah, over this period of time. And 2 times when there was a vacancy for like a year, I put in. But it never happened. So I always came in runner-up.
Right.
Okay? So what happened was in 1994, when I was running for the school boards and interested in this stuff, they had something called the $1 million mistake. So instead of giving $24 million as a tax warrant to pay for the school system, they gave 23. Okay? So, beknownst to nobody else, okay? So they had to make up $1 million. So Aaron Bach, who was the supervisor of the town, had money in the water department. He gave them $1 million. But in September of 1994, when we got our tax bill, it was supposed to be 5.8. It was 16.4.
Wow.
So that was like crazy. So I had to sign in front of the AMP, join me at the Yorktown Town Board, find out what's going on. So I had 75 people there. They started with this, well, we didn't tell you because I know all this stuff.
You mean it impacted, in other words, you're saying the town taxes were impacted by that increase?
No, the school taxes, but he took money out of the town
That's
fund.
what I mean, out of the town
He shouldn't have
fund.
took it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
he should have took it out of
Exactly.
So
yes.
he was up for election, never said anything till after the election. The school board in 1993, they wanted to pass a bond issue, so they didn't say anything. But when we got in September 1994, what is going on here? So then we had over 600 people at the school. So then I said, I'm going to start an organization. But they already had the United Taxpayers Organization, was established in 1996, but it was defunct and stuff. So the president, Mike Melillo, said, come on, use the same name. We started up. So that's where I started. Then I was president. We were doing certain stuff. Then they kind of fired me. I come to a meeting, I was president, you're no longer president. So why? Because these are how people are, you know?
Right.
So I'm just for the people. We had a great organization throughout the county because we had all these different groups that were coming together.
Sure.
Down the line, again, the organization goes down. I get a call. Listen, why don't you be vice president? Who are you talking to, me? You know? So next thing you know, you'll be president. So I've been president for about 6 or 7 years now. And we have about 800 members altogether. We send about 350 mailings. But between the families, it's probably about 800 people.
So they let you go for a little while, but then they decided to bring you back.
Yeah, because it was dead, you know. So I reorganized it twice. So I've been going to the school boards for 18 years, and I sit there and I listen. So I'm pretty good on that. So I was on this last time I was on a finance committee to this year, and they disbanded the finance, which got me really angry. I was on a legislative committee, which they disbanded a few years before that, and then they keep abolishing all these committees. that would
Which
work.
basically are oversight committees.
Yeah, of the
To kind
community.
of give an idea to the, like, it's almost like a report back to the trustees to say, listen,
Right.
this is what we
It was
think you should
community
go with this.
members who were involved.
Right.
And we wrote policy, and we went to Albany, all that stuff, okay? So then what happened was that all the different school districts, every year seems to be more and more school taxes. So it goes on like, I'll just give you an example. From 1990, it was like $30 million. Now it's 88. Now if they go with another $4 million, it's going to be $92 million in Yorktown alone.
Sure.
And Lakeland's even worse. They're up to 141. They're going to go to $146 million. So you're asking what is happening with all this stuff.
So would you say, let's put it this way, so when you first moved to Yorktown, because I think now the numbers are something like a school taxes to a homeowner right now are in the 60 to 62% range.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Right, and then meanwhile,
Town
and
is
then you go
15.
town is 15, and then county is
County's
another 15, 18.
Makes
You know,
100.
make the mix. If 15 years ago, was that the same mix, or do you think probably
No, it
school
was-
taxes were probably much less at the time?
was less, yeah,
As far as
it was-
proportionally, it was probably more like a 48, 47%.
Yeah, it was 2020 or 2015 for the county.
Right.
And the town, and 60, you know.
So you kind of
less.
saw this explosion on the school end. You see maybe the county and the,
Yes.
even though everyone was going up at the same time, it seems like the school taxes were going up more than.
Well, what is happening is that you had a lot of kids.
Oh, I
Okay?
see. Right.
So you had, again, this is a big part of what's happening now. Enrollment went up, okay, in all those years. So they had to put schools, they had to add
Put
teachers.
buildings up and
right,
teachers,
right,
the
aides, and you name
principals,
it, right,
aides, yeah,
all that
across the
stuff.
board. More transportation.
Yep, so that's what happened, steadily going up. Teachers' salaries, benefits, superintendents, if we want to talk about superintendents, let's just make this real quick. Lakeland, guy makes $260,000 a year plus benefits. Next year he gets another increase of $10,000, makes $270,000. Wow. Our guy makes $228,000 in Yorktown, but he has an annuity of deferred annuity of $5,000, so I always add that. So it's $233,000. I think in yours it's pretty close to $200,000.
Peaks is about 200,000.
Yeah, something
pretty
like
close to
that.
Yes.
But they're all different. So what we have Lakeland School District, which you know, which has 5 different communities.
Right.
And then we have the Yorktown community.
Right.
Now, if we combine those and had one superintendent, I mean, we've been trying to talk about it for years.
Almost
One
like
salary. you take
almost
his,
like a shared service versus having.
well, a head guy is just a head guy. To me, he's a figurehead. All the assistant principals and everybody, principals do all the work. So if you had one guy, say that you combined it maybe $300,000, that's still a lot for one guy to do 2 systems, and he would just be the superintendent. You know how they talk about regional stuff?
Right.
They try to get things together so everybody wouldn't pay so many things. Like they have the city. They have one chancellor,
Right.
gets one salary. So those are some of the ideas. But over the years, that's what happened. Now, there's no more, the enrollment's going down. We lost 260-something kids in the last 5 years.
In
total,
totality,
yeah,
throughout
totality,
the
yeah.
K through 12.
Yeah, so the sections in kindergarten went down by 2 sections.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, just looking at the North County News,
Yeah, go
like,
ahead.
for example, on the March 11, 2009, this front page, school taxes in Lakeland seeks to cut 28 jobs, including administrative. And they said that taxes may go up 2.9%. Somers seeks to cut nearly 18 jobs, yet there's still a proposed budget tax hike of 2.7%. Right. And in Yorktown, right here in the Journal News, also Wednesday, it says teachers and parents alike, I believe it was, hold on, I had the information before. It's 21 job cuts, and I believe also 45 staffers, and yet it's still going up 3.95%. So right. Is this a combination of not only enrollment going down, but also just because of the bad economic times?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think this happens only because of the bad economic times? If it was good times, you think this never would have happened?
I've been up to Albany so many times for tax caps, trying to keep, we voted unreasonable bonds down, unreasonable budgets down. They've been getting too much money, too long, and the salaries and benefits prove it. Okay, if you look at what teachers make these days and superintendents make and so on. So it just went out of control, okay? Now, because of the times, now somebody wants to get control of it, okay?
Yeah,
so over the 18 years I've been there, they always say the same thing. You're not going to get state aid, it's going to be less. But they always got more. Okay, same thing in Lakeland, always got more and more and more.
Right.
And then they spent more and more and more. That's in any government. The more you get, the more they spend. So now what's happening?